Hopefully, we would not be the last generation to see the beauty of nature. But will we be the generation that would devastate our environment? Or will we be the ones who would take a huge step in making a difference? Humans produce huge amounts of waste every day, and as a nature of human lifestyle, we will always produce waste. In the Philippines, about 150,000 residents of Metro Manila knows the sight and smell of garbage as an integral part of their daily lives. One major category of our waste is solid waste, which includes paper, wood, furniture, e-wastes, and a lot more. There are two categories under solid waste. First is what we call industrial solid waste. Now this is usually produced by mines, agriculture, and industries that supply our goods and services. The other is known as municipal solid waste, or often called as garbage or trash. This includes food wastes, yard wastes, cans, papers, and solid wastes produced in our homes, schools, and workplaces. In the Philippines, approximately 70% of the municipal solid waste generated is collected and treated. Uncollected municipal solid waste is dumped into rivers, creeks, lagoons, and sewers. Another major category of human waste is hazardous or toxic waste, which is actually a threat to human health and the environment. Included here are solvents, hospital medical wastes, car batteries, and ash from incinerators and coal-burning power plants. One form of hazardous waste is the highly radioactive waste produced by nuclear power plants and nuclear weapon facilities, which are stored safely for thousands of years depending on the radioactive isotopes present. So why should we, human beings, reduce the solid and hazardous wastes that we produce? One reason is that at least 3/4 of solid and toxic wastes are actually misused natural resources. Another reason is that the production of the products that we use and discard creates air, water, and land pollution as well as greenhouse gases. What are the possible solutions in dealing with solid waste? One approach is waste management. This occurs when we manage our waste in ways that would reduce the environmental harm without trying to reduce the amount of wastes, like burning, burying, or shipping our trash in another location. Another approach is waste reduction, wherein the 3 R's, reuse, reduce, and recycle, is applied. The last approach is called integrated waste management. This is the concept wherein waste management and waste reduction are both used to form various strategies. Burning and burying solid wastes are well developed in some countries, but it also contributes to pollution and greenhouse gases. So waste management is not the best way we could handle our waste. In waste reduction, reducing and reusing tackles the problem of waste before it occurs. Recycling is also important because it deals with wastes after they have been produced. Let's start to reuse, reduce, and recycle at personal, local, and national levels. In order to reduce resource waste and pollution, industries and governments can use these 7 strategies. First is to redesign the manufacturing process and products to use less material and energy. Second is to redesign manufacturing process to produce less waste and pollution. Third is to develop products that are easy to repair, reuse, remanufacture, compost or recycle. Fourth is to eliminate or reduce unnecessary packaging. Fifth is to use the fee per bag waste collection system. Sixth is to establish cradle-to-grave responsibility laws. And last is to restructure urban transportation systems. Now, reusing, which would involve cleaning and using materials over and over again, can lessen the usage of matter and energy resources. So how do we reuse? We could start by buying beverages in refillable containers, use reusable lunch boxes, use rechargeable batteries and recycle them when done, use cloth bags or reusable bags when going to the groceries, and give away or sell items you no longer use. Recycling. This involves reprocessing discarded solid materials into new and useful products. Now there are two types of recycling. There's the primary or closed-loop recycling, wherein items are recycled into new products of the same type. Then there's secondary recycling, wherein waste materials are converted into different products. Have you ever heard of composting? Well, this is a form of recycling that copies nature's nutrient cycles. It involves using the composer bacteria to recycle food scraps, yard trimmings, and other biodegradable organic wastes which can be added to soil. Now, there are three factors that hinder reusing and recycling goods. First is the exclusion of the harmful environmental and health costs in market price. Second, the economic playing field is uneven, meaning that tax shifting is not present in other societies. And third, the demand and price for recycled materials is low, having no individuals prioritize recycled items. So how could our country encourage reusing and recycling? Well, first is to increase subsidies and tax breaks for reusing and recycling materials. Second is to implement the fee per bag waste collection system. Third is to encourage or require government purchases of recycled products to help increase the demand. Fourth is to pass laws requiring companies to take back and reuse or recycle packaging and electronic waste discarded by consumers. And lastly, inform individuals about the environmental consequences of buying certain products. Handling hazardous or toxic waste is much more complex compared to solid wastes. It is harmful and may contain radioactivity. Although, just like solid wastes, pollution prevention and waste reduction should be the top priority. The first step in dealing with toxic waste is by collecting them, and once they're all bundled up, biological methods can be used as treatment for hazardous wastes, like bioremediation, in which bacteria and enzymes destroy the toxic substances, and phytoremediation, where plants are used to absorb and filter contaminants from polluted soil and water. We can also detoxify hazardous wastes by using a plasma arc torch to incinerate the wastes at high temperature. Burying of hazardous waste should be used as a last resort in handling them. The most common form of burial is deep well disposal. What happens here is that liquid toxic wastes are soaked into porous rock materials and are isolated from overlying groundwater by essentially impermeable layers of clay and rock. Another approach is surface impoundments, wherein ponds, pits, or lagoons are used as storage for wastes. Basically, we should produce less toxic waste, reuse or recycle them, convert it into a less hazardous material, then safely store what is left. Did you know shifting to a low-waste society is actually possible? It would only require individuals and organizations that would help reduce resource use, and also by reusing and recycling wastes at local, national, and global levels. You see, environmental justice for everyone is a goal that should be given priority. It is an ideal whereby every person is entitled to protection from environmental hazards without any form of discrimination involved. Just because one group is seen as inferior to the other, we still don't have the right to use their environment as a dump site for our wastes. Now we will present you some key principles on how we can make a transition to a low-waste society. Everything is connected. There is no away, as in to throw away, the wastes we produce. Polluters and producers should pay for the wastes they produce. Different categories of hazardous waste and recyclable waste should not be mixed. We can mimic nature by reusing, recycling, or composting most of the municipal solid waste that we produce.